Here's the 30-second lesson on what legends know. Never practice nunchucks in a crowded room. Never eat chole before a road trip. Always take your shirt off before you iron it. Don't take a call near a swimming pool. And don't forget, saving is not investing. Legends don't just save, they invest in mutual funds. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
One dramatic development has taken place in one of our major political parties in the course of this election campaign. That is in Bahujan Samaj Party. Now, for some time, we've got used to looking at Bahujan Samaj Party as not that important a party. Remember, this is the party which in 2007 had won a full majority in Uttar Pradesh by itself to rule the state. That was a time when the state used to be divided on 3.5 sides. That is SP, BSP, BJP, and the Congress party. Congress being the half, maybe I'm being too kind by calling it the half. It had already diminished greatly after Babri Masjid. That said, BSP was always a major force. The other thing that made BSP particularly powerful, in fact extraordinary in the Indian political system, was the fact that its vote was seen as transferable. So if your vote is transferable, then you are that much more valuable as an ally. So if the BSP decided to agree to align with Party A, BSP could transfer its votes to Party A. BSP's voters would listen to the leader, which in most cases in active politics was Mayawati. It used to be Kanshiram, who was the founder. Kanshiram was a scientist in one of DRDO's preeminent explosives labs in Pune. And it's from there that he started a small trade union kind of activity involving what he later, in the course of time, came to describe as Bahujan Samaj. That is people of backward castes, backward classes, minorities, etc. And through that emerged Bahujan Samaj Party. However, in electoral politics, mostly it's been led by Mayawati, who was a protege of Kanshiram. In fact, I had the privilege of recording a 2-part walk the talk with Mayawati ji for NDTV in May 2005. This was recorded in her home in Delhi's Humayun Road. That was the time when Kanshiram, who had had a really bad stroke, was being looked after inside her home. He wasn't able to talk very much, but you could see that things would register on him. He would acknowledge your presence, but couldn't do very much more. Mayawati, however, was fully in control of the party. And in every election in Uttar Pradesh, Mayawati and her party counted. In fact, very often in adjoining states also, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, a couple of times in Punjab and Haryana as well, she put up candidates, and all other parties would be wary that those caste groups that support BSP in Uttar Pradesh, they could shift to her, or maybe a section of them would shift to her. So she was always a force. Lately, that force looks like it had declined. It had declined in the last 2 parliament elections. They did quite poorly, although in 2019, they had an alliance with SP. Once again, SP, some of SP's vote is also transferable, although conventionally we believe that it's not as transferable as Mayawati's, but it looks like in 2019, more of SP's vote got transferred. So Mayawati got more seats than SP, but together, however, they were not able to stop the BJP's juggernaut. BJP still got 62 seats by itself in Uttar Pradesh out of 80, another 2 going to the allies. Then BSP decided to go by itself, and then it hit the bottom in terms of its own support base. That was in the last assembly elections, when it got some vote, but it got no assembly seat. That really was the nadir for the BSP. Yet, the BSP in a state where voter base is divided at many levels, the BSP still has some solid vote banks. This time, if the expectation on the part of the opposition was that BSP would come and become a partner with them, with India Alliance, and that would give Narendra Modi and BJP, or in this case, we should say Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, and Yogi Adityanath's BJP run for its money. That didn't happen. She decided to stay by herself. Ekla Chalore. Now, a lot of interpretations were made of that. That maybe is she trying to help the BJP by staying out and by dividing some of the opposition vote, or is she just conserving herself, conserving her forces, keeping the powder dry for a better time? Because what is there to gain from getting a few seats in a Lok Sabha election? In the middle of all that, she had anointed a successor. The successor, supposed successor, was her nephew, her brother Anand Kumar's son, Akash Anand, who's American educated, and lately he'd been leading the BSP campaign and getting a lot of traction on the ground. Then suddenly, just as the media had started taking notice of Akash Anand, Mayawati, as she often does, or as she used to often do with transfers and postings of her DMs and police chiefs, the district magistrates or collectors and SSPs or police chiefs, suddenly she issued a bunch of tweets, a series of tweets and a statement saying that she was divesting her nephew from the twin job of being convener of her party and also as her anointed successor until he acquired the maturity, until he acquired some more maturity. That is the dramatic event that we are talking about today. I have with me two brilliant people to talk about this. I've done my explaining and setting up the issue. Now these two will do more of the talking. So there is Dilip Mandal. Dilip Mandal is my colleague for more than 30 years. In fact, if I remember correctly, about 32 years. Dilip, uh, since he walked into work as a young journalist in India Today, Hindi, and later rose to be its editor, and then also came and worked with us at ThePrint as a consultant, as an advisor, and writes for us as and when he can find time to write for us. I've always counted a great deal on his wisdom, his knowledge, and also his ability to speak the truth as he sees it. He's one of the sharpest minds you will find in political analysis. He's also somebody who has tracked Bahujan Samaj Party for more than 3 decades. So thank you for being with us, Dilip. I know you are busy, but I dragged you in. And
Thank you,
DK
Shekhar.
Singh,
Thanks for having
DK
me.
Singh, thank you. DK Singh, all of you know him well. He's our political editor. Right now, I caught him in Bhubaneswar. He's traveling in Odisha watching the elections. But we caught him because he's again somebody who's followed BSP and Hindi heartland politics for decades now. He knows many players. He's written about it. He's also been writing about it. Lately, he also has a view and understanding which is quite remarkable. Now, if I were to describe the two of them for you in a different way, Dilip Mandal has both an insiders and outsiders viewpoint. And insiders because he has seen this politics almost not exactly as a player, but from within, as being as close to being a player as you can be without actually being a player. And also from outside now because he's an observer. He's not an active journalist covering that story. DK Singh, on the other hand, is an outsider politically, as he would be with any political party. But when it comes to keeping track of day-to-day politics, political developments journalistically, he's almost like an insider. So I defer to the two of these now. Dilip, you try and explain to us what exactly is going on and what is this dramatic turn, and also how dramatic is this turn?
Shekhar, BSP is one of the most difficult party to cover. There is no system of sources, and we just can't go to somebody who will give some information and all that. So we have to depend on theories, what might have happened there. And as Goffmanian idea of dramaturgy says that whatever is happening on the front stage, there are many more things that might have been happening at the backstage. So we have to see BSP in that light. That is the prism, that is the gaze we should have on BSP. So बीएसपी के बारे में जब बात कर रहे हैं तो हमको ये देखना होगा कि अभी वहां पर जो चल रहा है इवेंट अभी एक है, एक पॉइंट है, उसके पीछे बहुत कुछ हो रहा होगा। थ्योरीज ये हैं, स्पेशली लेफ्ट लिबरल्स, दे एक्चुअली think that is not their analysis, that is their wish that कि बीएसपी कुछ कर दे और ये मोदी के टोटल स्कीम में कुछ डिसरप्शन पैदा कर दे। अभी उन्होंने सोचा था कि आकाश आनंद शायद वो आदमी है जो कि वहां पर कुछ सीटों पर एटलीस्ट बीएसपी विल डिफीट बीजेपी। सो ये जो होप था कि बीएसपी कुछ ऐसा करेगी जो कि बीजेपी को हराने में किसी की हेल्प करेगी, दैट वाज द आइडिया। ये एक उनको लग रहा है कि ये क्या हुआ, आकाश आनंद एक अच्छा मीटिंग कर रहा था, इतनी रैलीज हो रही थी, एंड दैट इज नॉट हैपनिंग नाउ। अचानक से क्या हुआ, तो जरूर कुछ हुआ होगा, कॉन्स्पिरेसी उनके दिमाग में चल रहा है कि कुछ हुआ होगा, कोई ईडी, कोई सीबीआई, कोई कुछ दिया गया होगा। सो दीज आर एक्चुअली आई थिंक कॉन्स्पिरेसी थ्योरीज। ये भी तो हो सकता है, बल्कि मुझे लगता है कि हुआ होगा कि बीएसपी माइट बी सेविंग इट्स एनर्जी एंड रिसोर्सेस फॉर द बिग फाइट ऑफ 2027, क्योंकि अभी कुछ भी होगा, बीएसपी इज नॉट गोइंग टू फॉर्म गवर्नमेंट एट द सेंटर। सो व्हाई they should expose or they should put forward their most valuable resource which is आकाश आनंद। उसको वो इस समय क्यों पूरी तरह से एग्जॉस्ट कर देंगे, और उसके बाद उसका फर्स्ट जो इलेक्टोरल एक्सपेरिमेंट होगा वो एक डिफीट में होगा। क्योंकि देखिए, अखिलेश यादव को मुलायम सिंह ने एक जीती हुई पार्टी दी थी, यहां पर कोई जीती हुई पार्टी नहीं है। सो दैट इज द डिफरेंस। और इसमें मुझे लगता है कि आकाश आनंद को वो होल्ड कर रही हैं। और मायावती के बारे में सब कुछ छोड़ बोलते हुए हमको यह भी ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि उन्होंने देश की तीसरी सबसे बड़ी पार्टी चलाई है, एंड दैट इज द मिरेकल ऑफ इंडियन डेमोक्रेसी, कि वो कोई रिसोर्स नहीं था, कुछ भी नहीं था, सबसे गरीब लोगों की पार्टी, और उसने देश की तीसरी सबसे बड़ी पार्टी चलाई है, सबसे बड़ा स्टेट चलाया है, और अभी भी 19% वोट लास्ट पार्लियामेंट्री इलेक्शन में था। तो मायावती जो कर रही हैं उसको लेकर बहुत ट्रिविया या बहुत हल्के ढंग से मुझे लगता है कि नहीं लेना चाहिए। वो एक अच्छी पॉलिटिशियन है, उसको मालूम है क्या करने है, और उसके इतने अपीवल के बावजूद सी स्टिल हैज अ वोट बैंक। उसके पास अभी भी वो वोट बैंक है जो वर्स्ट कंडीशन में भी उसके पास ठीक ठाक वोट है। तो इसके साथ वो परम्यूटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन में जाएंगे, मुझे लगता है, मेरा अपना असेसमेंट है बीएसपी को इतने पास से इतने लंबे समय से देखने के बाद, कि वो जो उसके लिए बिग बैटल है, उनके लिए जो बिग बैटल है 2027, उसके लिए वो तैयार हो रही हैं। और इसमें वो इस समय वो अपनी एनर्जी और अपना सबसे अच्छा जो रिसोर्स है उसको शायद यहाँ पर वो खर्च नहीं कर रही हैं। ये मेरा फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन ये है। मैं किसी कॉन्स्पिरेसी थ्योरीज और ये हुआ होगा, पीछे ये होगा, उतना उस तरह से मैं इसको इस समय नहीं देख रहा हूँ।
डीके, ये सेंस, इज दिस सेंस करेक्ट दैट lately some of the Dalit vote, her Dalit vote has been shifting to the BJP, except the Jatav vote still mostly remains loyal to her, but non-Jatav Dalits have been shifting to the BJP, and they did shift in 2019. So is that a point of concern to her?
So first of all, that Mayawati has been losing her core Dalit vote bank. That has been clear on the ground. We look at the party's vote share, how it has been falling. We look at the post-poll surveys, the CSDS locally surveys that tell you that how the Dalits sections of Dalits have started moving towards the BJP. So that has been a fact, in fact.
Akash Anand was getting traction on the ground. That all reports say so, and you can see those pictures and you can see those videos. So why pull the plug on him at this point of time, just when things seemed to be picking up or looking up for Bahujan Samaj Party?
So I'll take off from where Dilip has left. When he is talking about the fact that, about the possibility of Mayawati keeping her asset, intact and to keep him for a bigger fight in 2027. The fact is she has damaged her asset badly right now with this move. She has basically papufied him by calling him immature. If Mayawati is declaring her nephew, her successor, as immature, who is 28 years old today, 3 years later, he will not really become mature. So she has damaged his credential in a way. There, probably I don't agree. As for the conspiracy theories, look, there was no reason. Whatever Akash Anand said, fine, you are calling some government, Talibani government, you are attacking the BJP with indiscreet language, of course, totally uncalled for, condemnable. But then you could have just condemned it. You could have asked him to just tone down, not to talk in that language, and let him continue. You didn't have to sack him. And if you look at it, look at the background. Say we go back a few months. What happened with Danish Ali? Danish Ali, when he was being targeted by the BJP after that Bidoli's communal slur against him, and he was trying to team up with other opposition parties to basically fight back. The party just sacked him, saying that he was indulging in anti-party activity, with never specifying what those anti-party activities were. But I look at all these things. That's my analysis. That there is some sense of insecurity here. If you go back right from Kashiram days, she has displayed some kind of insecurity in the sense she wants to be totally shielded. She does not want anybody even near on the fringe challenging her, or even throwing up the possibility of challenging her. You remember when Kashiram was on deathbed, and there were many reports then, because Kashiram's family members were alleging that they were not being allowed to meet him. Mayawati would not allow them to meet him. But that apart, if you look at the way she has been promoting her so-called putative successors, if you can say, because every few years we come to know about a new successor. You remember Siddharth Kumar? Siddharth Kumar was her elder brother, and suddenly in 2003 she publicly disowns him, saying that just because central agencies were raiding my residence, he got scared. So the elder brother gone. After that, we heard a lot of names. You had Rajaram at some point of time. You had Satish Chand Misra at some point of time. Then you saw Dr. Ashok Siddharth, who is the father-in-law of Akash Anand. At one point of time, he was also being promoted. And every time she promoted somebody, we would always start speculating, okay, this is going to be the successor. Someday she would name him or the successor. It never happened. After a while, she ends up clipping their wings. So I'm just looking at the larger strategy. The moment somebody starts getting a lot of attention and people start analyzing him in comparison with her passive politics with somebody's proactive politics, or start projecting some other leader in BSP as bright, or somebody could do something. This is where some kind of insecurity slips in. I won't say that she is insecure about Akash Anand because he's her nephew and she declared him successor. But she did not really want anybody else to start hogging the limelight and basically emerge as a possible alternative in the future. Even after naming somebody a successor, that as long as I'm there, I want to be in full control, and I'm the one you should be talking about, nobody else.
Well, I will tell you that the interactions that we've had with Mayawati, I think there was one that walk the talk interview. That was a long interview, as I told you, 2 parts. In that one, while Kashiram was laid up on the first floor of the house, she did walk us to that room. She remembered me to Kashiram, saying, "Dekhiye, Shekhar Gupta aaye hain." And Kashiram, you could see a flicker of recognition on his face. He couldn't speak, and a little bit of a flicker of smile. And then, as if to humor him, she said, "Kya khaoge? Main chole bhature manga दूं." You will see that picture on your screen. That picture was taken during the interview. Kashiram could be also hauled up on a chair, on a seat, but otherwise, you could see that he was fully in her control and fully under her care. Let me say that also. She took very good care of him. That's one. The second thing is, and that's where I need to ask Dilip a question. She's not that old. She's only 68 years old. She's 1956 born. So why should she even be thinking of a successor right now? But she's been thinking of a successor for some time now. At 68, most leaders in India are not thinking of a successor. Narendra Modi is not thinking of a successor at 73. right? So why does this talk of successors keep coming up all the time?
So ये जो बीएसपी पार्टी है, ये इस तरह की पार्टी साउथ एशिया में और बाकी और जगहों पर इस तरह की पार्टीज हैं जो कि एक आदमी के आसपास सब कुछ उसका बिल्ट होता है और वो सारा स्ट्रक्चर्स को एक तरह से चलाता है, कंट्रोल करता है। ऐसा नहीं कि उसके पास एक फिर नीचे कोई इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं होता है, लेकिन सब कुछ के सेंटर में वो एक पार्टी होती है और वो उसकी के आसपास क्योंकि सब कुछ बिल्ड करती है, तो उसको कोई एक लीडर आगे के लिए शायद तैयार करना होता है। तो इस ये मान्यवर काशीराम ने भी जिस तरह से मायावती को एक लीडर के तौर पर तैयार किया, या मध्य प्रदेश में भी उन्होंने फूल सिंह बरैया को जिस तरह से एक लीडर के तौर पर उसको भी खड़ा करने की कोशिश की। सो ये इसकी शायद मुझे लगता है कि यहाँ पर वो मायावती जो कर रही हैं वो मान्यवर के साथ कंटिन्यूटी में है। इट्स नॉट कि कोई उसमें उस लिगेसी के साथ ये कोई रप्चर नहीं है। ये इसी तरह से शायद वो पार्टी काम करती है। अब कोई कह सकता है कि वो पार्टी इस समय अपने सबसे अच्छे दिनों में नहीं है, लेकिन पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज इस तरह के दिन देखती है। मतलब बीजेपी को हमने 2 मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट के साथ देखा है और उसके बाद वो एकदम कैथारसिस में जाती है, बहुत सारे प्रोसेसेस में जाती है और फिर वो खड़ी हो जाती है। या जैसे आडवाणी जब 2009 में परफॉर्म नहीं करते हैं तो बीजेपी फिर एक पूरा एक ट्रांसफॉर्मेटिव प्रोसेस में जाती है। तो ये एक्चुअली जो बीजेपी के लिए जितना आसान है उतना शायद बीएसपी के लिए नहीं है, क्योंकि एक आदमी के आसपास ये पार्टी बनी है और अभी भी उसी तरह से है। तो शायद इस वजह से एक लीडर शायद तैयार किया जा रहा है और वो लीडर फिर से आकाश आनंद हो सकता है कि उनकी वापसी हो। और ये मैं जो जितना बीएसपी को जानता हूं उसके हिसाब से मैं इस समय ये इसको आकाश आनंद की कहानी का एंड नहीं मान रहा हूं, बल्कि हो सकता है कि उसको थोड़ा सा होल्ड पे रखा गया है। और क्योंकि ये जो इलेक्शन है ये बीएसपी को यूनियन गवर्नमेंट तो बनाने दे नहीं रही है, तो हो सकता है कि वो एक स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और यूनियन गवर्नमेंट के साथ बहुत तीखे कॉन्फ्रंटेशन में नहीं जाना चाहती है। और उन्होंने आकाश आनंद को जिस तरह से देखा उसमें लगा होगा कि ये जिस तरह से बहुत गार्डेड रहने वाली पार्टी है, उसकी लैंग्वेज वो अपने स्पीचेज पढ़ती हैं, ऐसा नहीं कि बहुत अच्छे वो फायरी स्पीकर थी, लेकिन बाद में उनको समझ में आया कि हमको बहुत संभाल के चलना है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन लैंग्वेज ये सब को लेकर वो बहुत गार्डेड है। वो शायद आकाश आनंद इसमें नहीं कर पाए होंगे। मैं बीएसपी के बारे में फिर से ये कह रहा हूँ कि बीएसपी के बारे में हम लोगों को दरअसल उसके बैक स्टेज के बारे में कोई भी जर्नलिस्ट अगर क्लेम कर रहा है कि बैक स्टेज के बारे में वो जानता है तो वो झूठ बोल रहा है। बीएसपी का बैक स्टेज नजर नहीं आता है, किसी को नहीं आता है, क्योंकि वो बैक स्टेज एक आदमी का, वो क्या आदमी के लाइफ के दिमाग में है शायद, वो इसलिए वो उसके अंदर क्या चल रहा है नहीं मालूम। लेकिन मेरा अभी भी असेसमेंट है कि आकाश आनंद का ये एंड ऑफ स्टोरी नहीं है। वो हो सकता है कि बाउंस बैक करे, जरूरी नहीं है लेकिन कर ही सकता है। और हमको बीएसपी को अब 2027 के लिए देखना चाहिए, जब ऐसा होगा कि समाजवादी की पार्टी के साथ मुसलमान थकने लगेगा। अगर कि 4 बार 5 बार इनको मौका दिया, बात बनी नहीं, और ये जैसे 20% वोट अगर वहां शिफ्ट हुआ तो वो पार्टी अचानक से, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ ना, 2 पार्टी से मेजोरिटी तक पहुंचने में बीजेपी को कितना समय लगा। तो ये आज की तारीख में 19 या 13% वोट से वो एकदम से वो फिर से 30-40% की पार्टी बन जा सकती है। मतलब ये पॉसिबिलिटी है, मैं इसको रूल आउट नहीं कर रहा हूँ, नहीं भी हो सकता है, हम प्रेडिक्ट नहीं कर सकते हैं पॉलिटिक्स के पूरे डायनामिक्स को, बट स्टिल दैट इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी which should not be ruled out.
So what Dilip means is that what's happening backstage with the BSP we don't know. It's a one-person led party, and in fact most parties in India at this point are one-person led parties. There used to be a time when you would say that BJP is not a one-person led party, but BJP also, if not one-person led, maybe two-person led party. But there also thought process comes from one, and each party right now is very opaque at its back end. You get to know very little. However, with BSP, this applies even more, and I speak from knowledge here. This applies even more because that backstage with the BSP is exactly what is at the back of Mayawati's mind. No one else has an insight in that. Not even a member of the family. I'm not even sure she's the kind even to confide in the nephew too much. Dilip, you agree with me on that?
Yes, sir, bilkul, precisely, because what is happening in BSP, we only know through some theories and hypotheses. Nobody can substantiate it, nobody is there to even refute it. BSP कई बार अपनी खबरों को रिफ्यूट करने के लिए भी सामने नहीं आती, उसका कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस भी नहीं देती है. तो इसलिए वहां पर क्या चल रहा है, जैसे आपने बताया कि वो उसका बैक स्टेज जो है वो बहुत ओपेक है. वी डोंट नो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग देयर, क्या दिमाग में चल रहा है. बट स्टिल सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है कि दैट पार्टी इज स्टिल देयर, वो पॉलिटिकल सीन पर है. उसको खत्म करने के बहुत सारे अनाउंसमेंट हो चुके हैं कि नाउ सिविल जस्ट फिनिश हो जाएगी, खत्म हो जाएगी. मान्यवर नहीं रहेंगे तब खत्म हो जाएगी. मान्यवर नहीं रहने के बाद बीएसपी ने सबसे अच्छा परफॉर्म किया 2007 में. सो ये भी नहीं कहा जा सकता है कि वो एक आदमी नहीं है तो पार्टी नहीं है. वो एक आइडियोलॉजी है जिसकी वजह से वो पार्टी सर्वाइव करेगी. ऐसी एक पार्टी की दरअसल हमेशा इंडियन पॉलिटी में जरूरत होगी, जो बिल्कुल सबल्टर्न्स के साथ, उसके साथ एक सिंक्रोनाइजेशन के साथ उनकी पॉलिटिक्स करे. तो ये पॉलिटिक्स शायद जब आ गई है तो ये फिर अचानक से कोई प्रोसेस खत्म नहीं होता है. पार्टी ऊंचा नीचा दिन देखती है, बट दैट प्रोसेस इज स्टिल अलाइव. सो बीएसपी इज स्टिल देयर और बीएसपी विल बी देयर. मुझे लगता है कि हमको उसको अभी और देखना बाकी है, कुछ बाकी है जो बोलते हैं ना, तो इसका भी कुछ बाकी है.
DK, how mysterious is the BSP for you to keep track of and for you to study? And how do you study the BSP? Because I've also seen that it's very difficult to find sources. And very often those who start speaking on behalf of BSP, and you can see them close with Mayawati and they have access, and suddenly they disappear one day. I don't cover I have not covered the BSP actively and closely, but I have also found that people who come and speak to you on its behalf, even set up meetings with Mayawati, they fall by the wayside in no time. So first of all, how tough do you find understanding the BSP? Second, how do you try to understand BSP? And third, what's your understanding? What's the future of BSP? And what do these sudden moves or recent moves mean for its future and also for politics of Uttar Pradesh? Because that is where the BSP really counts. Because let me also add this, that last election, the BSP did very poorly, assembly election. It got 0 seat, but it got a bunch of votes. Last election, the BJP also was not able to repeat its performance of 2017 assembly election. So it looks like that BJP did very well, but its number of seats fell by 55, in spite of the fact that now there was a second popular leader and a local popular leader in Yogi Adityanath, which was not the case in 2017. 2017 was purely in Narendra Modi's name and nobody knew who the chief minister was going to be. By 2022, Yogi Adityanath had become a very popular chief minister. In spite of that, the BJP vote share fell and the BJP numbers were reduced by 55 seats. And it was widely understood, and DK will tell us if it's this correct or not, that if then BSP had come and joined hands with SP, sufficient vote transfer might have taken place to even, God knows, deny the BJP a second term in Uttar Pradesh, in spite of Yogi having risen as a leader in his own right. What do you say, DK?
To start with, I agree with what Dilip said. Nobody knows Mayawati's mind. And to be very frank, the last time I had a one-on-one meeting was way back, I think in 2017 or 18, when she had come to Delhi and called a few journalists to have one-on-one interactions. She was very friendly then. But then not that I could get anything out of her about what she was planning. It was just courtesy and some chit-chat. After that, I could never meet her. As for other party leaders, in Parliament, for instance, even in Central Hall, you would sit with all the BSP leaders, BSP MPs, and you would find them all second guessing. So if I had to ask what was going to be the BSP's stand on a particular bill, say a day before that or 2 days before that, and I would go to Satish Chandra Mishra, he wouldn't have any idea because you need some direction to come from Lucknow. So it's that kind of a party. Yes, it's very difficult. We end up analyzing things. We can't really say that this is what is playing on Mayawati's mind. So that's point number one. Second, BSP's future. Today I was talking to our colleague Sanya Dhingra. Sanya Dhingra is working on a copy on what's happening in Dalit space. in UP, and she was in Barabanki, she was in Mohanlalganj, traveling across villages, and I was chatting with her what she was gathering, and there was a very important point she made. That now she's seeing that this rise of post-dignity politics. So Dalits think, okay, first it was about dignity, all that fight, the fight Kashi Ram started, before that many other stalwarts. Now they are looking at something beyond that. Okay, fine, dignity, it's not that everything has been sorted out, everything, I mean, they are just region that way. But thing is, they are okay. I mean, it's not like they're being insulted or they're being excluded or they're untouchable. I mean, all these things are gone completely. Now they're looking for what you call aspirational politics. So it's much more than dignity now. The thing is, Mayawati is still stuck there. Second point Sanya was making to me was, in many villages, suddenly a section of Dalits have almost stopped celebrating other festivals. No Holi, no Diwali. They are just celebrating Ambedkar's Jayanti. And that's once a year, and they do it on a massive scale. They're not interested in other celebrations. So those things are happening on the ground, and this is where you see the emergence of somebody like Chandrasekhar Azad. Now, if you recall, Mayawati sent Akash Anand, the first place he went to was in Nagina, where Chandrasekhar Azad was fighting. And his message to Dalit youth was that don't fight on the street like that. He is misleading you. You will end up in jail. So that's not the way to protest. So, if Azad is able to somehow win over their trust, the Dalit youth's trust, that's with his aggressive street fighter image. Mayawati is somewhere lagging in that space. And she's not able to come forward. And this is what she has been trying to cover up, in fact, that, the growing resentment or growing discontent with the state of affairs and with the BSP, the way it has been conducting its politics. That is happening
within her party.
Within her party. And she has not been able to actually respond to those aspirations on the ground. As I said, the politics for dignity does not get as much traction today because people are looking at post-dignity politics. And she is not able to respond to that.
That's a good point. Now, I know if this is a Goshti, we can go on for 2 hours, but we don't have that luxury. Plus, our viewers have more important things to do. So, one closing question to each one of you, or maybe 2 in 1 question. One, do you think that Mayawati also acts from insecurities? Some insecurities vis-a-vis the central government, that she doesn't want to take pangas with the BJP too much as long as the BJP has power. If so, where do these insecurities come from? And because it's these insecurities, the notion of these insecurities that leads to conspiracy theories, that this is the B team of the BJP, she's dividing the anti-BJP vote, she's trying to attract some Muslims, she's putting up too many Muslim candidates, right? Whose vote will they take? They will only take the India Alliance's vote. Also, if her nephew was getting traction, she's now sacked him. So, is she helping the BJP? That's the second part. First, is she insecure and acting from insecurity? And in which case, what is the insecurity? Second, if she's acting with insecurity, is she then acting deliberately to help the BJP as part of some quid pro quo? Or this is just her way of making a tactical retreat to live to fight another day? So, Dilip, you first and then DK.
Shekhar, these B team theories, I think all bunkum. I don't think this is how Indian politics works. If that is the truth, then why Congress is fighting elections in, say, West Bengal, or Samajwadi Party putting candidates in Madhya Pradesh? So, or Aam Aadmi Party fighting election in Rajasthan.
In Punjab.
I'm not talking about this election, all assembly elections. So, parties work for their good. They will not do politics for stopping BJP. That can't be their ultimate goal. So BSP doing politics for the betterment of, or to get their party bigger. So if that helps BJP in some or other way.
तो आप कहेंगे कि ये टैक्टिकल रिट्रीट है अभी?
राइट, हाँ, मुझे लगता है कि ये अभी इस समय उन्होंने थोड़ा सा खुद को होल्ड किया है और इस मोमेंट पर मुझे नहीं लगता है कि इसमें वो पूरे अपने सारे रिसोर्सेस, अपने सारे कार्ड्स इसमें खोलना चाहती हैं। वो आकाश आनंद को नहीं चाहती हैं कि कोई बहुत बहुत बड़े लीगल ट्रबल में जाए, क्योंकि अगर वो उनको आगे के लिए बचा के रखना है तो इसमें वो शायद उसको ट्रेन करना चाहेंगे कि थोड़ा आप उसको कैसे इंडियन लीगल फ्रेम और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल फ्रेम के अंदर की ये पार्टी है। कभी ये पार्टी एजिटेशन में नहीं है। 90 के बाद से मैंने इस पार्टी को कभी एजिटेशन में नहीं देखा है कि रोड में नहीं जाता है। और इस पार्टी की ओपिनियन जो है वो चंद्रशेखर जहां जा रहे हैं यूथ वो नहीं बनाता है। ये पार्टी गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉयज की पार्टी है, क्योंकि वहीं पर इनका मिडिल क्लास है। दलित मिडिल क्लास पूरी तरह से गवर्नमेंट एम्प्लॉयज से बना है और ये उसका क्लास है। ये एजिटेशन में जा नहीं सकता है। एजिटेशन में इनको अगर मुकदमे में फंसा देंगे तो ये पार्टी नहीं चल पाएगी। तो ये थोड़ा थोड़ा मतलब इसको वाटर डाउन आकाश आनंद शायद उनको चाहिए, थोड़ा सा टोन डाउन आकाश आनंद चाहिए, और इसके लिए उन्होंने शायद इसको रोका है।
दिलीप, तो जो केसेस हैं मायावती के खिलाफ काफी समय से जो एजेंसीज के हैं, वो केसेस से वो डरती नहीं है क्या? और डरना चाहिए
के खिलाफ इस समय शायद कोई केस नहीं है शेखर, जहां तक मेरी जानकारी है। मायावती के खिलाफ आखिरी केस खत्म हो चुका है। उनके पास ताज कॉरिडोर केस नहीं है, पार्क का केस नहीं है, शायद डीए केस भी नहीं, जहां तक मुझे लगता है। तो केसेस मायावती पर मेरे ख्याल से कोई नहीं है।
लेकिन वो केस तो ये सरकार चाहे तो किसी दिन भी रिवाइव हो सकते हैं।
वो तो किसी पार्टी के लिए सच है। वो तो अखिलेश यादव और पर भी कई सारे केसेस।
अखिलेश यादव तो लड़ रहे हैं ना, अखिलेश यादव हो या लालू की पार्टी हो, वो तो लड़ रहे हैं बीजेपी से।
नहीं, और वो
आम आदमी पार्टी होती है,
लड़ते हुए अल्टीमेटली अखिलेश यादव लड़ रहे हैं, लेकिन वो 2014 हार चुके हैं, 2017 हार चुके हैं, 2019 हार चुके हैं, 2022 हार चुके हैं। तो लड़ रहे हैं का मतलब जरूरी नहीं है कि वो बीजेपी को हरा रहे हैं। और बीजेपी जब उस थ्रेट के उस थ्रेशोल्ड पे पहुंचेगी जहां पर उसको लगे थ्रेट है, उस थ्रेशोल्ड पे अभी अखिलेश यादव पहुंचे ही नहीं है। तो इसलिए हो सकता है कि उसको इस समय वो नहीं होंगे इस तरह से किसी गवर्नमेंट के टारगेट में। इसका मतलब वो नहीं है कि वो बीजेपी को हराने के लिए लड़ते हुए दिख रहे हैं। इसका मतलब जरूरी नहीं, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ ना कि वो पूरा इतने सारे इंटरसेक्शंस में ये पॉलिटिक्स इस समय यूपी की है कि वो समझ में नहीं आ रहा है जो लड़ रहा है वो लड़ रहा है या किसको कौन जिता रहा है। ये बहुत, मुझे लगता है बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स है। और मैंने तो यूपी में अमर उजाला में रहते हुए पॉलिटिक्स की है, ज्यादातर नेताओं को मैंने देखा है, जानता हूँ, लेकिन फिर भी मुझे नहीं समझ में आ रहा है। तो मतलब और लोगों के लिए तो कितना कॉम्प्लेक्स होगा। तो कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी इज द ट्रूथ। मतलब हम अनक्लटर करते हुए भी एक क्लटर को ही देख रहे हैं जो कि इतना वो जम्बल्ड है, जो हमें सिर्फ ये बता रहा है कि सब हर पार्टी अपने इंटरेस्ट के लिए, हर लीडर अपने इंटरेस्ट के लिए काम कर रहा है, और जिसको लग रहा है कि इस समय हमें अपने को बचा लेना है वो इस समय बचा के रख रहा है। और ये हो सकता है कि समाजवादी पार्टी भी कर रही है, वो भी फुल थ्रॉटल शायद नहीं जा रही है, क्योंकि 2024 जो है वो यूपी का पॉलिटिकल जो लैंडस्केप है इसको नहीं चेंज कर रहा है। और ये दोनों पार्टी यूपी की पार्टी है, इनको दिल्ली से बहुत कम लेना देना है। तो यूपी में जब उनको यूपी में कुछ भी नहीं बदलना है, वो थानेदार नियुक्त नहीं कर सकते, वो डीएम नहीं बना सकते हैं, तो वो इस खेल में उस लेवल पर कहाँ क्यों जाएं जहां उनको यूनियन गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट दोनों से कन्फ्रंटेशन में जाना हो, जिसके बदले में कुछ नहीं मिल रहा है। या तो इस लड़ाई में कब जाता है आदमी कि ठीक है इसको मरो या मारो करते हैं और देखी जाएगी। ये लड़ाई सपा और बसपा दोनों के लिए, एसपी एंड बीएसपी के लिए ये डू एंड डाई बैटल नहीं है। इसमें दोनों लोग अपने रिसोर्सेज, पैसा, लीडर, आगे के प्लान, मुझे लगता है दोनों लोग इसमें बचा के रखेंगे।
तो डीके, व्हाट दिलीप इज सेइंग, वन दैट इसमें कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी इज द ट्रूथ, and secondly saying the more we try to declutter it, the more we get cluttered. Now you provide clarity.
There again, I have to agree to what he's saying. It's pretty complex. But coming to your original question about the insecurity, I mean, without making any judgment on why she is doing what she is doing, I can just point out a few things. 2019, BSP goes with SP, RLD. A few months after the Lok Sabha elections, you have income tax rates in Noida, Benami properties worth a few hundred crores, about 400 crores, are detected, and these are linked with Akash Anand's father, Mayawati's brother. And we have not heard about this case after that. And the fact also is, after those raids, we have seen Mayawati changing her politics that we have been discussing. That's number one. Secondly, if you look at her candidates, the message from their camp was she is trying to expand her base. Look at the way she has distributed her tickets. Out of her 64, 65 candidates she has declared. People talk about, look, she has given 14 tickets to OBCs, 14 to Dalits, 18 to Muslims, and 18 to upper castes also, including 10 Brahmins, 5 Thakurs. So this is the kind of thing she is doing, and she is hurting the BJP also, because look, there she has fielded 18 upper caste candidates. And then we look at what happens in Jaunpur, and we know what kind of engineering is happening there. So that's all I have to say about this.
Please explain what happened in Jaunpur.
Now, Jaunpur, Dhananjay Singh's wife was posing a threat. You have a substantial number of Rajput votes, which usually go to the BJP. And she was posing a threat to the BJP, because BJP also, quote unquote, imported its candidate from Maharashtra, although he's from Jaunpur. He was the Minister of State for Home in Maharashtra. He is brought here. He has not done politics here. He does not have the support of local BJP cadres, because he is a congressman in Maharashtra. Then he has switched. So there were so many odds stacked against him. Then you had this Srikala, Dhananjay Singh's wife, was posing a big threat. At least Rajput voters getting away from her. Then Dalit voters, who are also substantial, because she was a BSP candidate, she would have got both Rajputs and Dalits, and more, probably Muslims also, depending on the winning combination. It was a big threat, and suddenly you hear that Mayawati had changed the candidate, and Srikala is no more there in the contest. So you are basically forfeiting it. If not forfeiting it, forfeiting your claim on the seat at least, even though you have put the sitting MP back as a candidate. But he had lost this after you denied the ticket, and he was nowhere in contention this time. And her move will help only the BJP. It will hurt the SP, because she has again fielded a Yadav candidate. So we see what kind of politics he is playing in Jaunpur.
Yeah, this Yadav candidate had won the last election in partnership with the Samajwadi Party in Jaunpur in 2019. And then interesting background is that her candidate, Srikala Reddy or Srikala Singh, is the wife of Dhananjay Singh, who is a well-known Don / mafioso of the district, and who was in jail, convicted on a kidnapping charge and given a 7-year jail sentence. Within a couple of months of that, in fact, not even a couple of months had passed, that he was suddenly given bail and allowed to come to Jaunpur in a big procession. So there is a sense that there was some understandings and some adjustments being made there, and it was widely expected that some deal was on in Jaunpur. That said, nobody should go any further than this on speculating on these issues. The fact, however, is the withdrawal of her Rajput candidate, in this case, the Rajput candidate's wife, but Dhananjay Singh was behind it, and he has a big support base there. That will go to help the BJP. That seems to be the case right now. But once again, this is one straw in the wind. There are many others. But what's happened between her and her nephew, who had been named successor, and now his sidelining, and also with the public statement that he doesn't have maturity yet, that's very significant. And I agree with Dilip. BSP is one of the most significant political parties in the country and in the Hindi heartland, because it has come out of an ideological political movement that was built over time. The other important thing that Dilip said is that the larger support base of BSP is government servants, because government servants, there is reservation. There are a lot of people there who can be the likely BSP voters and supporters. And BSP had started in its earlier form, DS4, BAMSEF, all those names look back at us. All of those were organizations of mostly of government employees. That said, it's one of the most fascinating parties in the country. This term is a very significant one. That's the reason we needed two wise minds to give their views at variance with each other in many areas, but also in agreement with each other. synchronizing with each other in some areas. I hope we've been able to throw some light on this really interesting development, because I would have been inadequate to do so all by myself. So thank you very much, Dilip, and thank you, DK.